from the GT3. You have the GT3 RS suspension in it, front and rear. Bigger brakes than the GT4, a little wider, sits a little lower. The engine is about 500 horsepower, like 493, I think, to be exact. Sits lower. You have separate throttle bodies, which I wanted to show you for each intake. So each cylinder has its own throttle body, so to say. It opens up. And the design for this is basically to get the engine, the air into the cylinder quicker. You have your backup throttle body in the center, but at default that just stays wide open. So the air is in the intake, goes right down, and it sits right here, right on top of the cylinder by the intake valves, and opens up right there. The air is immediately into the cylinder. You have solid lifter, or no lifters, solid rockers to open the valves for quicker response.
Mike, did you say there's no lifters?
There's no hydraulic lifter. It's a solid.
Oh, they're solid rock. Okay.
Yeah.
Do they need adjustment?
There is an adjustment. I don't think there's a service interval for it. I think it's just checking it. There's probably shim if it can be adjusted. I think it's more for maintenance or diag purposes. I don't think they're suspecting them to wear. If anyone had a first gen 991 GT3, there was a coating on those. Those were a little bit different. I think those had a hydraulic lifter, if I'm not mistaken. Can't remember off the top of my head. But the coating on the lifters would wear off, and at on the racetrack mostly you would see it. You would get a misfire at like 6,500 RPMs, and just from that little bit of coating worn off the rocker. So it's very sensitive. This does have the lift kit on it. You have a hydraulic lift pump underneath the car. Fills fluid to the front of the shock, and the shock has a bellow on it that collapses and expands to lift the car up so you don't damage it underneath. Some of the bigger differences from the GT4 to the RS is a lot of aerodynamics. You have a lot of extra aerodynamic panels under here, cooling ducts. There's a so-called ram. There's through the hood scoops, air gets fed down into this cooler down here above the front axle, right onto your brake rotors for extra cooling. If you notice, the back windows are not windows anymore. That's an extra air port to feed your airbox. Yep.
And the airbox is right behind the seat, right?
The airbox is right behind the seat, and you hear every bit of it as you're driving.
Awesome.
And it's PDK only?
PDK only, yeah.
Yeah, that rules me out.
Maybe you drive. Don't knock it till you drive.
Yeah, exactly.
I get spoiled here driving all the cars. This is the first car besides like the Carrera GT and the Taycan Turbo that I'm like, all right, this is worth every, the power
100%.
is there.
Yeah.
And that's without beating it up on a racetrack.
Mike, let me ask you a question. With the PDK transmission in this car,
Yes.
A lot of us we love driving manuals because we love the interaction.
Yeah.
This car having a manual PDK, what does it feel like? Do you feel like you have some interaction? Do you feel like there's something going on there?
You feel like your first girlfriend.
As far as interaction, if you want to use the paddle shifters and stuff, you're going to be able to interact with the car. It takes all the thinking out of it, though. So we were at the Glen this summer in August. I had a 992 C2S on the track, PDK. I was with a customer who used to drive manual GT3s on the track. Rule of driving on the track, I guess, is when you're in a turn, you're not shifting gears to set off the balance. He goes, the first time he bought a 991 GTS, he goes, first time he's going around a turn in the track, the car shifted and he freaked the because he thought he was going to lose it. It does all the thinking for you. It's faster than you. It's smarter than you.
Yeah.
Does it feel visceral? Does it give you that?
I don't.
Does it give you that charge? Does it give you that feeling? Yes.
Yeah, 100%.
Yes and no. Depend. It's going quick, so it's moving it for you. You can feel it shift and everything, but you're not actually, throwing gears and stuff. Anyone have any questions on the GT4 RS?
So this is rated at 493 horsepower?
In the sheet that they gave me, it says 500 PS. Converting PS to horsepower, it's like 493.217, something like that.
And what's the torque?
Torque they're saying is 450 newton meters at like 6,500 RPMs, which is like 337 foot-pounds of torque or something like that. Yeah.
Would you be able to start it? Could you start it?
Maybe at the end of it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
And then
Let everybody know.
we could take volunteers to drive it?
No. We're actually very fortunate. The customer who owns both these vehicles is letting us use it for this event. So
Cool.
Do they all come with the? So I read some things that said that there were optional tires. There were the Cups and then the Cup R's. Can you get the Cup R's, or do they come with the Cup R's?
they only come with the Cup R's. As far as optioning it out,
These Cup R's right here.
these are Dunlops.
These are Dunlops.
What do you have on yours? You have the Cup R's? Do you have the
Do you
magnesium?
have this? You have this car?
Do you have the magnesium wheels? Did you get the magnesium wheels? So there's a magnesium wheel option. I think for the they call it their racetrack wheels. I guess is what they're saying for lighter wheels. As far as the compound tire, I do remember reading that they say there's an option for Cup R tires, but I guess when you build it, you probably have to option it out. I know there was some issues too, like now building them, that the ceramic brakes weren't available for a certain time period. They were out of them or something like that. But
Are these the magnesium wheels?
these are, no, I don't believe so. And it has the carbon ceramic brakes. You can get black or yellow, standard. The ceramic brakes are a couple millimeters bigger than the steel brakes. Steel brakes in the front are 408 millimeters. The rear about 380, I believe. Ceramics are, what were they? It was like 5 millimeters bigger, I think, or something in front to rear, or 2 millimeters bigger front to rear. Yeah, it was 410. The ceramics were 410, and the rears were, I don't remember. I'd have to look it up.
I heard the front.
Wasn't that big.
Spoiler was adjustable. Is that true?
Adjustable.
Or it's like a better pitch or something?
It's redesigned from the GT4. It has a little bit different angle and just a different design to help airflow with the car. But adjustable, no. As far as I know,
It doesn't look
it's just one
adjustable.
position, yeah.
I thought I read that.
Well, I don't think on this. I don't think on this one it's adjustable. On this on
More
the
later
track
from the
one.
GT3
No,
RS,
obviously,
yep.
but I don't think these are.
I don't know. So this is back here. We have another panel back here, and then you have the diffuser back there. So accessing it is not that simple. You know, the GT3 is a little bit different. It's just got 8, 10 screws and the one diffuser plate at the bottom.
From the top, you still have to lift the lid, right?
And it being a new car, I didn't want to go start ripping the interior apart to open it up. But it's designed to be serviced that way. So yeah, you still have the access from the top and the rear wall.
So is the interior for track or for city?
As in being
Like,
stripped
is it-
out,
yeah.
or it's got a full interior like a street car.
Yeah.
There's lighter weight designs and stuff in certain things.
Roll bar?
There is no, so in Europe apparently you can get the factory roll bar option as standard. It's a free option apparently on the car. There is, with US regulations, there is no roll bar fitted to this car from the, offered from the manufacturer.
But there's mount points for the harness and the
I can't confirm or deny that, but I'm guessing the shell is exactly the same as the one in Europe.
What about suspension versus regular Cayman? Is it the same?
So suspension versus regular Cayman, like a 718 Cayman is going to be 30 millimeters higher. It's about 8 millimeters shorter in the front and 6 millimeters shorter in the rear.
Over 180 180.
Over the
So
180.
you're looking at base price 330, 350.
Chump change, right? Not bad. I mean, it's a nice car.
It's a monster.
It is. It's fantastic. It's so good looking.
Oh, it's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. I'd love to have it.
So nice to meet you. Hey, I'm Rob, by the way.
John.
John.
In fact, there's somebody with the same car.
And then once you get the Wi-Fi back, like 30 grand, then open up the unlock and back keeps you with to like 15. Unfortunately, the person that I have Handsome Park.
Yeah, I want that manual. I don't have a manual. I can PK. Yeah, these cars are big. I love this color. I used to have one of these. Like graphite blue metallic. It's beautiful. It's a monster.
I was hoping they had this one over here.
Yeah, this is. I had to come. Like I've never seen this. And I have
For most people.
No, I know. It's like, how do they get one? Look at this. How this is cut out.
Yeah, you know why they do that?
No.
They cut that out so that the airflow actually comes out of that wheel well easier, and there's less turbulence, and then it takes that air and then shoves it right down into the intake for the cooler.
Well, that's the whole thing. Is the air, like dynamic air.
Yeah,
the
that's coming in for the
GT3
brakes.
RS has that too, and there's no frunk anymore, which kind of sucks.
No.
But
And then they develop this so that there's obviously like the GT cars on the racetrack, so it removes the air pressure from inside the wheel well.
they just keep
It's perfect.
getting better. I guess this last iteration was more airflow.
Exactly.
This is cool too, right? No,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'd say this is gorgeous. I love it, but 282, base. I wouldn't. I mean, if you got all the money in the world, it doesn't matter. And you can't buy these.
No. Oh, that's such a